Are you tired of feeling stuck? Do you find yourself doubting your potential or struggling to follow through on your goals? It's time to break the cycle with the Strong Men of Value Academy. At our academy, we don't just talk about change, we make it happen. We provide you with the tools to create a clear vision for your life, backed by actionable goals that we'll tackle together every 12 weeks. Imagine ending this year with 4 major life accomplishments under your belt. How would that change your life? Join me, Lachie Stuart, and a community of like-minded men who are committed to lifting each other up. Our program includes weekly check-ins, monthly planning sessions, and quarterly reviews, all designed to help keep you accountable and keep you on track. Plus, every couple of weeks, gain fresh insights from guest speakers who are pioneers in their field. These leaders provide not just inspiration, but practical advice that you can apply directly to your journey of personal and professional growth. Don't let another year pass you by just dreaming about what could be. It's time to become the man you are meant to become the man that can. Spaces are limited, so to ensure personalized support, don't wait. Visit themanthatcanproject.com/the strong men of value to join the waitlist and secure your spot in our next intake, which kicks off on September 27, 2025. Transform your life with the Strong Men of Value Academy, where every man can. Today we have one of the women that can. We do. We're starting off with a new series where I'm going to be interviewing health experts who are doing cool stuff for one, but also are going to help me get my body primed and prepped for the 58 marathons coming up, because I thought as much as I'm going to be learning a lot, I should interview the cool people to learn even more, so that you guys can take away insights and maybe learn a lot of new stuff. Because not only will the things that I'm learning and implementing now help for marathons, etc., they're going to help for everyday life. So we got my sister-in-law, Kathleen Seagar, Pilates instructor, physiotherapist, guitar tech. What else can we put on there? Roadie. Okay, we got all the things. And you're currently running a company called Move Better Online Pilates and Mobility.
Yep.
I heard that. Can you give everyone a quick rundown first on what that actually is? And then we'll dive into this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Lachie. Move Better Online was a platform that I created because I can't work here in America. So I wanted to connect with my clientele back home. Also needed a purpose, and I wanted to do something that was fitness-based. I really missed the Pilates. So I launched an online Pilates platform which has mobility in it as well, because I want to make it targeted to both men and women. I do find Pilates is often targeted to just females, so I wanted to change that.
Why are blokes scared of Pilates?
I think because it looks so pretty and petite and it's also girly, but true Pilates, it was designed by a male.
And there's a difference between reformers Pilates and mat Pilates, right?
Yes.
And so is your online Pilates mat Pilates, right?
Yes, it's all mat Pilates. So it's designed to be able to do it anywhere, any place, comfort of your own home, in a lounge room, in a hotel room, on the road, like what we'll be doing. So I've tried to make it just in the mat space.
I love that, because often the reformers, I did reformers with you and it kicked my ass. It hurt so much. But you need those expensive machines, and you could either have to go to the gym and it doesn't really work. It's like body weight training as opposed to having to go into a gym and use a barbell.
It's good rehab, but it's a lot more. You have to be in a clinical practice or a studio for it.
Yeah. It's cool that you are doing it as well for multiple reasons. And I like the transparency, because I think a lot of people say they're doing something for one of the reasons, but there's so many facets around, like, one, we need to be, you and I are both in the same position where we can't work in the US, which sucks.
Yeah.
So then it's like, how do you make the most of a situation and still do what you want, find purpose, and do what you're already qualified in and enjoy doing as well?
Yeah, I know you struggle with this. It's such a bugbear of mine being here when people talk to you about healthcare and mobility and injuries, and I'm like, I know all the things and I can fix it. I can do whatever you want me to do, but I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's like you literally can't do a single thing. Because if we do that, we jeopardize everyone's visas.
Yeah, so it's not worth it. So that's how Move Better Online came about.
Yeah, which is exciting. And so I'm going to be using it purely from the point of strengthening up a lot of muscles. So the way I see it with running is my cores, because I'm not doing as much strength training, it's going to help with my core and especially the hips, because I notice a lot of long distance runners have like flat asses and they're just weak.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great for your physique.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep my physique.
Pilates will help. I mean, it'll be great for your body fat percentage, but Pilates will be great to just build your hip flexor strength, glutes as well, because you're going to be sitting for such long periods with all your travel.
Yeah.
And it'll be a way that you can rehab those little niggles before they start to impact your running, like as you're starting to feel like things are changing, and whether it's shoes or snow or sand, whatever's bothering you, we can release it and then start to strengthen that depending on what the next run is like.
Yeah. And so with the like program, so obviously they're not just like one-off modules or episodes, it's actually like periodized 6-week plan, right?
So it's a 6-week course, 4 Pilates sessions a week and a mobility session a week. And then from there, there'll be extra sessions that you can go back and do 10-minute ones, 15-minute ones. You can, double back and do classes that you liked. But the 6 weeks is the work.
What are they, like 30-minute sessions?
30-minute workouts.
Yeah, perfect. Because it fits in and around your stuff. So for me, for example, like I could technically hit it before I hit like a run or something like that.
I mean, doing a 30-minute mobility session for you before you run would be ideal.
Yeah.
It'd be really good. That would help. And even if you did 30 minutes of Pilates before, help activate things, particularly your hip flexors and glutes, and then go out in the run, you probably feel a lot better. You won't have as much sway through your hips. You might find your thoracic mobility is opened up. It'll be really good.
Yeah, I'm going to be tight as all buggery. Like, I can just feel it now.
This will be 2 weeks in. Yeah. The first 2 runs are going to be great.
I'll be like, this is amazing. Then my hips will just be locked. That's where I think the mobility, and I was thinking about it today when I was running. I was like, I need to make sure that it's just like a non-negotiable that I stretch before and after as much as I'm going to be cooked.
Build it into your routine. So try and make like, you'll eat, get up, eat, stretch, run, stretch, rub down.
As a physio, so like tapping into the physio side of you, what do you feel are like some potential problems I'm going to face?
I think the sleep and fatigue are going to be the 2 things that'll cause the injury. Like I don't doubt that you'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
But it's the sleeping whilst traveling, which we've just done on the road with Shepherd, is particularly challenging. And making sure you're eating enough so you then sleep well, and also sleeping well whilst on the road is challenging.
Yeah.
But then not letting that compound. So if you have a bad sleep, that run, making sure you either have a nap the next day or because the sleep part is so important for your recovery. Your cells will just fall apart if you don't sleep.
I know. That's what
we need to wipe the slate clean every day.
And it's not as simple. This is where I'm grateful I've done the rowing because what was the stuff you gave me? The
Neurocalm.
Yeah, Neurocalm.
Metagenics Neurocalm is a really great supplement that helps calm the nervous system, particularly for things like this.
Yep.
Or if you're just really anxious generally, I take it when I'm traveling and I can't get to sleep. But there's a Neurocalm Soothe and there's a Neurocalm Sleep, and they just calm your system down. So if you're really heightened and panicky, like you'll be doing, just there's so much going on for your nervous system that really helps to calm that down.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things I'm worried about, because technically, like, let's say the marathon's taken 4.5 hours, then I can lay down anyway because we're going to have a van, which most people's thoughts would be, oh, well, you just sleep as soon as you're done, you're going to be wrecked. But what I experienced after rowing all the marathons was your body's so fried.
Yeah.
You can't sleep. It feels like these electrical currents are going down your legs and it's just like constantly jolting.
And also when you exercise too late at night, it keeps you up. So depending on what time of day you're doing it, you're going to have to do somewhat like breath work or meditation and those neurocalms and lots of magnesium just to settle your mind and then settle your body. Because I think, the muscle activity, particularly late in the day, is going to send your brain crazy.
I know, it's going to kick my ass.
It's going to be interesting for us all to see though, because I have never treated someone who's done the marathons that you did, the marathon rows were great. It gave us an idea, but you did them at the same time every day.
Yeah.
So by the evening you were tired, whereas these will be dependent on travel and where we go, flights, drive times.
I'm worried about the flights.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the biggest thing for me, I think for you will be Australia. Like I think Australia will be harder than America.
I also agree. Like,
it's the Hawaii leg that's going to kill us.
It's fucking like...
So it's a much longer flight than I thought.
Yeah, last night we were at dinner. And I don't know why, we'd never threw it around. So we're going to Hawaii tomorrow, like in 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
And it's what do we go? Nashville to LA is like 5 hours. Then 6 hours from, sorry, San Fran or LA? Where are we?
LA to Hawaii.
Yeah, to Hawaii.
Honolulu, I think, will be 6 hours. And then we thought it was like an 8-hour flight. Easy peasy. No, it's 10 hours, 45.
Yeah, nearly 11. So it's like, that for me, if I don't end up flying business, which I'm going to do everything in my power to try and fly business so I can lay down. But if I'm sitting upright actually even premium economy would be all right.
Yeah. I think I'm fine sleeping upright, but that will ruin your hip flexors.
Yeah.
But it's being able to switch off because you've got set times. Yeah. I think I would
when
recommend,
you fly, everything puffs up.
Yeah. I'd recommend taking medication then to at least help.
Yeah.
Like lots of melatonin, some of those anti-inflammatories.
Oh man, yeah.
The Advil PM, fabulous. We might be popping some of those.
I hope I wake up from that, That's what
Yeah, I mean that will take the priority over, I think, sleep over fueling on those longer legs for Australia.
100%.
Because if you've got those 900 calorie supplements, you'll be laughing.
I literally found this company called Precision something. Anyway, but they have gels.
Please sponsor him.
Yeah, please sponsor me. I've literally just messaged them before.
He'll edit that in.
Yeah, I'll edit that in. No, I'll use your stuff. But they're 30 gram ones, which is like 300 calories roughly. But then I was on their website and they have 90 grams, which is 90 grams, which is about 900 calories.
Yeah, I remember thinking like if you had one of those a day, you'd survive.
I just drink 2 of those during the run. I'll be gaining big time.
That's good.
But
that's what we want.
It's like, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting but that's like having the data. Like I love the Whoop as well. So I want to talk about my body physically in a minute, but having the data to see how my nervous system is responding will be very cool. Like,
did you have that from the row?
I do, yeah.
And how did you find that with your sleep in the row?
I haven't actually checked.
Yeah.
No,
we should go back and check.
My sleep was crap for the first little bit until I got on the Neurocalms. Like I remember there was so many nights where I was just like twitching and my feet were just like
cramping.
That electrical feeling, like it feels like someone's got a feather just tickling your feet, and you're just
contract.
Yeah, and you couldn't sleep. Like you were so exhausted.
Yeah.
And all you wanted to do was fall asleep, but I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah, I think that'll be if you can get past that again.
Yeah.
That'll really help.
And I think I'll be, but like my heart rate, even watching my heart rate when I was rowing was like 145 roughly for the first 7.
High. Yeah.
But then after 7, it dropped down to 120. And this is rowing a marathon at 2 minute. I was sitting at like 2 minutes 6 average per kilometer, 500, which is pretty quick. Like most people can't do that for 500.
No, I couldn't do that.
And that was my whole marathon. So I'm very interested to see, like at the moment, my heart rate sits at about, depending on the weather, like the heat, but sort of 141 average at a 5:30 pace. So I'm interested to see if it drops down into the 120s after like 7 marathons, or if just because
your body gets used to it.
Yeah,
I think I'm really interested to see how you go on the snow, because I feel like recovery wise, the snow will be much better for you because it'll keep all the inflammation down. It will help you sleep because it's cooler core temperature.
Just go into a snow angel after we run.
Wrap you up into a big, soup. Sleeping bag.
Put me in a big soup. I'll be
sleeping
done.
bag, and I feel like you'll sleep a lot better, so that will help your recovery. So I'm keen to see how you go for that stint, because that's the first lot, so that might make the first 7 days much easier, much more manageable.
I hope so. But you know my body pretty well as well, because you've been treating it for like
at least 5 years, probably like, 8.
Yeah,
now.
like ankles, hips.
It's changed a lot depending on your sport. Ankles used to be some more so when you were doing the sprinting and the CrossFit. But
what do you feel? Based on what you know physically, is it like the hip flexors, or do you feel like other areas could potentially go?
I think hip flexors definitely, because of the travel involved, just from doing that with what we've just done off the road with Shepherd, your hip flexors just get so tight. But then because of that, your quads get tight and then your knees get tight. And I know you have a bit of tendency to get sore knee on the one side. If it's not your hips, it'll be your calves and feet. But if we can prevent your hips, the calves and feet will survive.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
I think it will be, I feel like it will be my feet and Achilles.
Yeah. And that will also change as the weather changes, because the cold might be good for it, but also snow will be soft. So it's going to load your Achilles a hell of a lot more. But then in the warmth, the tendon will stretch out.
Yeah.
And might have a lot more range.
When we're in Australia.
Yeah. So I definitely think your lower body, of course, but then when we were sitting in the car for so many hours, your thoracic, that midsection through your ribs there gets so tight. And
what do you reckon I do for that?
It's foam rolling. A lot of foam rolling where you arch back over it, but also do your lats just to open you up, and then lots of those lizard stretching where you rotate. Because that'll just help. And probably while you're running, it'll ease out, because when we were on the road with Shepherd, is we would loading in, loading out, and then sitting in the car and sleeping.
Yeah.
So we weren't doing the movement so much. The movement actually might help.
Yeah. Do you think would there be like a specific warm up I should be doing, like that comes to mind, or like any movements that you think should be incorporated into a warm up?
I think definitely like some clams and glute bridges for you, just to get your glutes like activated, so you're not dumping into your hip flexors.
Yep.
So the more activity and activation we get there, the better it'll be.
Get a booty band.
Booty bands and little weights for your ankles. I think that'll be at that. Like you don't want to with the calves. You don't want to overload them. They're going to be fatigued already. So it'll be hip flexor activation stuff and glute activation stuff. So a lot of like leg raises where you're lifting your leg over a yoga block and doing those little like toe taps just to activate through that lower section of your core.
And that'll be probably what I'm going to focus on now with Pilates and stuff,
definitely.
to just strengthen the hell out of that.
I mean, it's a good test with our travel coming up now anyway.
True.
So we can put that to the test with the long flight from Hawaii, and then maybe do a Pilates and mobility session when we get to Sydney.
Good point.
Yeah. We'll do it.
Good point. We'll do it. We'll test.
What do you think will be your biggest concern?
That's a good question. There's two sides to it, because I'm doing like the business side of it, which is like where trying to raise funds so we can bring a crew like yourself and Liam and ideally a videographer, but depending on how that goes. So like all of that in the back end is more stressful than physically. Like physically it's just like do the programming. But I think like eating enough will be hard, because I struggle to eat. Like
Lucky doesn't have a very big appetite.
No, it's wild. Like,
actually, big appetite, small stomach.
Yeah, big appetite. Like I'm always starving, and then
he'll eat 2 spoonfuls and he's like, I'm done.
So that's a big downfall. That's like a very big disadvantage, because I'm supposed to be eating roughly, Dean said, like 4,000 calories. And that's just so every day, which is double what I'm eating. And even today I've tracked my calories. I think I'm at like 1,700.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So, and I still got another training session. Amy's got to fatten me up.
Yay. Amy's like, can we switch? Can I be the one that eats your calories?
Load me up.
All right, sponsor us. I think though, if you are eating those gels, that'll really help, and multiple meals throughout the day. Yeah,
I think it's just going to be little meals, but even like I have to do it now, because it's like I tried a different drink today for training. My guts were so crook, and I was like,
oh no.
Fuck. So that's the hard part. Like the gels are good, but I just didn't have any more of them. So I was trying a different drink, which is high in carbohydrates, but my guts did not like it. So I got to test all these things now from a food standpoint. So I think
at some point, it's going to throw a spanner in your works, but at some point you might shit yourself on the run.
There's a very high possibility that that's going to happen. And the cool thing about it is I've never taken a shit in the snow, so that might happen, which could be a first.
I look forward to the videographer grabbing that content.
Imagine if it's myself and I have to set up my tripod to do it first.
Excuse me, guys, quick break.
That's serious business.
Oh, no.
That's the money shot.
I just think of that because triathletes and ultramarathon runners, particularly females, will get their period on the run and all sorts of hormonal changes, and then you need to go to the bathroom, and it can hit like that when you're running. So.
It happened to me in LA. Like I didn't shit myself. I don't know whether I've even told this story yet, but I was in LA for my 33rd birthday. We're in LA. So I ran 33K for my 33rd birthday, and I was going to pick Liam up. I think I was 20K in or something. And I just literally got to the traffic lights 900 meters from our Airbnb. And out of nowhere, I was like,
I love these stories.
Holy crap. Like I'm about to crap myself like now. And so I'm sitting there pushing the button, and then I've got
the panic that sets in, the brow sweat.
I've gone to run across the road, and then it's just like, oh, it's knocking on the door. It's coming. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to have to walk. So I had to walk and like clench, and I was leaning backwards.
The vibration of like you running can make it worse.
It was much worse. And the cool thing about LA is though, actually,
you can do it on the street.
You can do it on the street. Everyone else is doing it on. So I got to the point where there was obviously a lot of homeless people, and I was like, okay, actually, if I need to do it, I feel very comfortable doing it here. So I'm scouting out where I'm going to do it. I'm getting 400 meters to the house, and there's a bush just around the corner. I'm like, oh, that's the one, because it's going to happen. And then you get like this little moment where you're like, nice breath, and you're like, oh, actually, I think I got this. And so I've just like clenched, started slowly walking. I'm messaging Liam and Emma. I'm like open the front door,
open the doors, make sure
open your bathroom door, because I'm coming in hot. And as soon as I got to the bottom of the stairs, I just sprinted and I made
Hilarious.
it just. So I've been close. Know what you're feeling.
I look forward to the podcast we do after that's happened, and then we have to fill in about the details.
Yeah, I'll lose a lot of followers.
I mean, the eating on the road is really difficult.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to try and like get you grocery food, I imagine, to try and get your calories in, but also like to make sure that you're not just eating crap.
But I really feel like this is going to be a good lesson for me, but for people with how it all impacts every other area, because I could be as physically prepared as possible. Like I'm, training as much as possible. But if we end up in like bumfuck Idaho and they don't have good food,
also
it's
water,
that compound of the water you can't drink.
Yeah, if you haven't got good water supplies and you're relying on what's there.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, because then you do get that compound effect. As soon as you fall behind, you're playing catch up, and it's never fun to play catch up.
It's too long a back-to-back amount to have catch up.
To play catch up. So that's where I'm relying on Whoop. Like I hope my goal is to never go into red on this run. Oh, God. If I can, those...
like day 2 on the road with Shepard, I was in the red, and I don't think I recovered for like 4 days.
All right. Well, for those who don't know what a Whoop is, it's like it tracks so many various things, but heart rate variability, which is essentially like your nervous system, so you know whether you're stressed or not, and your heart rate, etc. But then it'll like give you a recovery score.
Yeah.
I think it's up to like 65 is in the green and above, 65 and above, and then 65 down to 30-ish is yellow. Like
under
a traffic
30
system.
Under 30 is in red.
And it's like, then you should not be training. So,
it stresses you out as well when you get a yellow, because you're like, please bounce back and be in the green tomorrow, please. And then when you get 2 yellows, you're like, please not be in the red the next day. So you do start to panic.
Yeah, it's stressful. And especially then when you're like, I've still got hundreds of marathons.
Yeah, when you're thinking about what you've got to do next.
Yep.
Like you've still got to eat, you've still got to sleep. Yeah.
That's why I'm picking like your brain and so many other people's brains. So I have this toolkit of hopefully things that are, one, going to prepare me, but also during it are going to be able to help my body recover. Like even the thing you showed me years ago. So years ago I had ridiculous foot pain and ankle pain for like 2 years, where I couldn't walk properly. I was like, I could when I warmed up, but I'd hobble down the stairs like I was 90. And then once my feet got warm, I could move. But then you started scraping my feet. And I've since bought the scrapers because they're like brutal, but it just helps keep my feet.
Yeah, they're just essentially a metal blunt knife. Then you just, the back of a butter knife works as well. And you just use it as fascial release. So it breaks down the fibers in that fascial tissue and you get more elasticity out of it. Because when we're standing for so long, and Lockie was doing so much running in terrible shoes when you're in track shoes, they just don't have much support, and CrossFit shoes are similar, weightlifting shoes are similar. They just get so bound, so it really helps to lengthen that fascial tissue out, which I think we'll definitely have to do. My problem, though, with treating you will be during the marathon rows, you couldn't tolerate much because there was so much lactic acid in the tissue. So we had to, like, it was the lightest I've ever treated Lockie. But it was the consistency of when we did. I was barely touching him. I was like, "How's that?"
I literally squeal like I just.
Well, it would just bruise as well, and we couldn't afford to have the tissue bruise. You know how normally you have a massage and you've got 24 hours, and then you feel a bit sore, but you're not going to train the next day, and you let it all settle down. Then the third day, you're like feeling great. You don't have the time to have that down day, so we've got to do it light enough.
I completely forgot about that.
Light enough that it's effective, but still. You're still able to train the next day. The feet.
How do we do that?
Feet, I think, will be fine because fascial tissue can take a lot more tension because it doesn't have the same amount of blood supply, and you don't hold lactic acid in the fascial tissue. But it'll be like your quads. If we got into your quads too heavy, it'd just make you feel so sick.
Yeah.
So we'd go lighter on those bigger muscles. And I think I'd focus more on trigger points rather than that full massage.
Yeah, right.
But then that'll depend. If you're really stiff, we might do more stretching, like active movement stuff where I release it with you lifting and lowering your leg, or I hold that trigger point and you're actively doing it. I'm interested to see at a clinical standpoint of what you can tolerate and what the body and the muscles recovery is like, depending on which way we attack it, whether we go a little bit more specific or we just go global and really, really light.
And do you feel like my nutrition, if I have my nutrition dialed in and I'm eating well, like technically I should be recovering better as well, right? And the sleep side of things.
I think the carbs will be crucial. Like if you can nail your carb intake, your not going to be holding as much lactic acid in the tissue. You have more carb stores in the tissue. You won't be breaking down that muscle, so it won't be as horrible to get released.
Then I avoid the risk of rhabdo.
Yeah, so where you can keep your carb stores really, really high, that's going to benefit you the most.
Because even for marathons, it's like start loading your carbs 2 days before. I'm like, I'm not. Like,
I'd be loading your carbs now with you.
Just pizzas nonstop.
But getting the right, what you can tolerate in and the right amount, because you still need to be up to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just be like
put purely carbs.
Yeah,
like
purely carbs
and stuff.
But then also protein. Like protein's going to help your cells regenerate and the muscle regenerate and repair, because you're going to have so much like the fibers tearing.
Roughly like 2.2 grams per body weight, which I assume I'm going to lose body weight.
Yeah, and I wonder whether that number changes though, dependent on like per body weight per movement, because or per hours exercised, because you're going to.
I haven't looked into that.
Yeah, he's going to go through those protein stores. They're your last resort before your own protein stores, your muscle, which we don't want to get through. But you want to have a hell of a lot more protein stores in your system as well.
So technically, I need to be like aiming for like 300.
Yeah, I'd be going really high. I mean, talk to your nutritionist, but the more carb stores, the more protein stores you have in your body, the less degeneration you're going to get. So
it's a steak a night, like
I'd be having a steak and eggs for breakfast with, but it's like getting that on the road is tough.
Yeah, that's what hopefully the van we get. So I've messaged this company called American Cruise.
Can we have a little trangy, like a little stove?
But it has
back?
like a full-on kitchenette and everything.
That's good.
So if we get that, I should be sweet.
So Liam is going to be the chef.
Yeah,
he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to learn to cook a meat steak.
Literally just steak and cheese.
Steak, cheese, and eggs, yeah. Because eggs is at least an easier way to get calories in.
Super simple.
And then heaps and heaps of rice.
That's one thing I want to avoid is like, even when I did the marathons here, I was drinking like Coke and stuff. And because I see a lot of ultra runners doing that. And
I think ultra runners can get away with it because it's just that 24-hour stint. Yeah. And you can crash and burn, and then you can, do your own recovery, whatever that looks like. But I've had clients who have done those ultra, 300K rides for 5 days straight or 10 days straight. Yep. And the ones that survive and do it well and find their sleep is really good are the ones that worry about their nutrition. Those that just do it on like beer and burgers and just have fun, but it's not ideal for their nutrition. Their sleep is the one that suffers, and then they get injured. And
so it's like almost a marathon approach around your nutrition as well.
Like so much.
So many questions I need to figure out around nutrition, but I'm slowly dialing it in. Dean's helping me.
Yeah.
But it's probably crucial to helping my sleep, which then helps my recovery, which then...
It's all linked. I mean, you're getting the compression boots?
Yeah, I'm getting them.
Yeah, they will be really good as well, because that'll help lessen a lot of your inflammation.
I can't wait. After the last marathon, I put them on. My legs were so inflamed.
Oh, yeah. Your knees will be ridiculous.
The patterns in them, I was like, I didn't realize how swollen my legs were.
Yeah, and because you're going to be eating more carbs, you're also going to be holding more fluid, which is going to mean there's going to be more inflammation. So there's a fine balance of like, if you eat too many burgers, your knees will inflame from just the shitty carb.
I think I'm literally going to go as clean as possible.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, it'll just be like maybe
just given
depending
your
on
injury,
calories, but like
just the injury risk.
Yeah, the idea is like to have, because I also got to train to eat enough. I got to stretch the belly. Yeah,
that's going to take some time for Lockie. If it was me, 24 hours, that'd be good.
You're good to go. I'm stretching the belly.
Keep shoving the brownie in.
I could do the brownies, but like eating good stuff.
Sugar. You want to stay clear of sugar, because that will your inflammation around your knees and ankles will be horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember running off the back of a heap of sugar. I think it was the marathon I ran on the cruise, and my knees were hurting after like 8 Ks.
Yeah, no.
And I don't want to prove that person who commented on my Instagram the other day being like, I want to invest in you for your knee replacement. I was like, fuck you.
We're not going to need a knee replacement.
Yeah, I'm not needing a knee replacement. I'll just eat better.
I mean, are you taking supplements, collagen?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm taking broths, fish oils, not taking collagen. I will. Once we get back to Australia and I get
it's easier.
Other stuff, but here trying to find stuff and the exchange rate and stuff, I'm
kills
just...
Because all the collagen, magnesium, that'll help you. Depending on how much you can get in with the magnesium, that'll help release you, because you won't feel like you're getting as many cramps.
Interesting.
It'll also like hold the fluid in your muscles as opposed to around the joints.
Yep.
So that'll help with your recovery, definitely.
Sweet.
So good magnesium, vital.
With the stretching side of things and the mobility side of things, like what would you be recommending I do, like daily mobility or
I
stretching?
think you'd have to do it daily just to counteract the travel.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never treated someone who's done this amount of exercise back to back, so I'm interested to see how much you require, because it might also be too much load on your muscles and joints to then go in and do a half an hour the following morning and then that evening.
Because you wouldn't want to be doing like intense stretching.
But you just holding a couch stretch might be too intense. So it might be the sort of thing where you're lifting and lowering your leg to do like, old school hamstring stretch and pumping your ankle up and down. That's excruciating. Like I'm really interested to see how you can tolerate stretching, because some people, I know particularly for me, if my hips are really tight, I get angry.
Yeah.
Because you hold a lot of emotions, but how do you release that enough but not irritate the joints, but also not fatigue them? So the next day you're going in more mobility, but they're really fatigued. So it's that fine balance, and maybe that'll be a time thing. We'll stretch for 10 minutes as opposed to half an hour, but it'll really, I've never treated anyone that's done this much load.
I'm very interested. I'm interested. Guinea pig for people, but that's why I'm going to track and test as much data as possible.
Yeah. I think the mobility will work around depending on how you're feeling anyway.
Yeah.
But it might be more crucial on those longer car rides, longer flights. So I imagine in Australia we'll do a bit more.
Australia's going to be hell. Like those flights are not going to be ideal.
Australia's so far apart.
It's literally like America. Yeah. Like the size of America.
It is the size, but there's not all the stops in the middle.
No, there's literally, thankfully, there's not 50 states, or I'd be screwed.
Yeah, that would be hard.
But having 8 states across the same landmass is insane.
Yeah.
It's
Are you doing Tasmania?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you go Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Tasmania, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin, Brisbane.
Wow. Oh, the Darwin one. What time of year are you doing that? Oh, it's okay.
What are we doing? March. Yeah. It's going to be hot. It's going
to be hot.
Australia's going to be hot. I'm coming from like negatives to then quite warms. That's going to be
weather. That'll be another thing that'll depend on.
Like magnesium, hydration.
Yeah. And like getting enough salts in so you're not dehydrated, particularly in those humid, like Queensland's so humid. Darwin's going to be so humid.
It's going to be a shock, especially after 50 days in the snow.
And Perth is so dry. So Perth, Melbourne and Adelaide might be really dry, and it's about maintaining, like, because it's like, at least when you're in the humidity, you sweat. Yeah. But there's like moisture in the air. But where it's like dry, it's going to like, your mouth will get cotton mouth and your eyes will be dry. So it's those little things that you wouldn't have thought about, that you might end up getting like an eye rash, or like you need eye droppers for those locations because it's going to be so cold.
Or even Idaho,
so
like the oxygen, because it's such high elevation.
That was so hectic.
The air's so thin. So when we were running in Boise, Idaho, whatever, however you pronounce it. I didn't do
that one. I ran in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado as well was freaking.
It was like running with a weight vest on, and then heaving like you'd had a pack of cigarettes for the run. It was,
and I only ran like 12K, so
I think I did 5, and it was
hell.
It was. It felt like your chest was being compressed. So that would be interesting.
They're going to be interesting tests, because once again, unless you go to the areas, like you can't train for that. It's just actually, we were lucky that we did visit some of those places, so I got to experience it once. Yeah, but it made me think about that, because had we not
did you get a headache from it?
I didn't get a headache, but I was like super tired and dehydrated.
That was the other thing that we noticed in those high altitudes, because we drove into those, but it hit us all of a sudden that I got headaches, and we were so dehydrated and we're so tired, and we were like, that night everyone's chest was tired and you restricted through here, and it just felt like
screwed.
So those things that you just can't train for because you've just got to do it, what impact will that have on your recovery? It would be great for you.
There's so many things you can't plan for. That's why I'm trying to talk to as many people as possible to try and get an understanding of what I'm in for, but there's still going to be so many things that you can't prepare for.
Yeah, and you'll just learn it as we go. Like for me, it'll be a massive learning curve. For Liam, it'll be a massive learning curve of like how much you can tolerate people talking, or how much being around him. Or
so many people are messaging me being like, and once again, like I like the idea of it. People are like, oh, we'll come run this with you, and
but I know Lockie.
Everything,
and that ain't going to happen after about day 5.
Even if I made that far. I'm very...
You need your own space.
Yeah, I was going to say intolerable, but I like to think I'm also tolerable to a degree. But when I'm even to the point when I was running 3 half marathons in a row last week, I couldn't listen to music because my head noise was so loud. It's like as soon as you throw even music on top of that, it was horrible.
Well, you get agitated. Like your system's so overwhelmed with so much as it is, like digestion and sleep, and you're fatigued and stressed, and you're physically and emotionally stressed. Then to add in like big personalities or too much talking.
And people who are fresh. And,
people that just don't know you or haven't gone through that with you, or they're like, flying in fresh. That's going to be a whole nother aspect because you want them there and the energy there, but coping with that and also having enough space and knowing your routine to be like, okay, give me 30 minutes after the run. I need to decompress and then I'm good. Working that routine out will be interesting.
Yeah, because I want to include people as much as possible.
Yeah, you want their support.
I also know what I'm like.
But at the same time, we just did a 2-week tour, and you don't get that opportunity at all, and that is your sleep.
Yeah.
And you just look forward to that, and you go back into your room and it's like quiet time and you turn your phone off and you manage. And then it's like when you need to in the car while you're traveling, you put your headphones in and you might have meditation music on, you might have no music, you're just blocking out the noise. Those things.
Do not disturb headphones.
You start to learn those things around whoever you're around. So
we'll see. That'll be an interesting one. But I think the main points is obviously like even in the lead up to it now, it's getting my body strong and mobile. So rather than just doing that when it happens, like getting, obviously for me, probably do Pilates. What's it? 30 minutes. That'll be 2 hours. That'll give me, so that'll, because I'm meant to be training 20 hours a week. So I do 4 a week in the mornings and then a bit of mobility either side.
Yeah.
I just need to keep my hips, hamstrings and everything.
I mean, when I was filming them, I had to do 6. I was doing 5 sessions a day. So I was doing 4 because I needed to get it done. I had a time limit.
Yeah.
In those 5 days, because I was doing 30 minutes of mobility after 2 hours of Pilates. My foot on my right side always turns out. That had fixed itself by day 2.
Really?
Yeah, just because I was doing so much activation through the side of my glutes. So I'm interested to see, because now I've had a couple of days off it, I'm interested to see how you go picking it up, how quickly you'll start to notice your strength in your running will change. Just you won't dump into your hips as much and you will have a little bit more like stride and you'll have a better stance.
I'll definitely be taller, I can imagine, because I'm like very weak.
Well, it'll even all through here, like working through the middle of your back and doing a lot of the lower trap stuff. It'll take you out of being in these forward positions that you're in for travel so much. So I'm keen to see how that goes at just like straightening you up, but also strengthening you to prepare for that. And
so essentially for those who want to look at doing it, like all they do is they'll purchase a membership. Yep. Then videos will be delivered through your website. Yep. And it's just like watching you. Yeah. And
so they're all
guided
30-minute guided mobility and Pilates exercise classes.
Yeah.
I've tried to set them all up so they're all classes, and there's I think 31 30-minute classes, and then there's about 6 or 7 shorter classes.
Cool.
Yeah. And then that'll keep growing. The more we film, the more I'll add them up there. So
sweet.
That's the plan, is to have hundreds of Pilates classes and like have them in groups. So there'll eventually be sessions that you could do a 4-week intensive, or if you just want abs, click all the ab videos. So we'll eventually get to that.
Where do people get on the wait list?
You can join the wait list at movebetter.com.au, and I'm hoping to have it launched in
a week. Like if that.
We'll see. We're going to Hawaii, so
by the time this goes out on Monday, what's Thursday? It'll go out Sunday. 3 days. Yeah.
Okay, has to be a week.
Yeah, it'll be quick.
He's giving me a deadline.
The link's in the bio if you want to check that out, if you want to get as fit and toned as I am.
And I mean, you've done Pilates before with me, and I've got many clients back home that are male, and they can't live without it now because it's the thing that prevents them from having back pain, or it prevents them from getting neck pain or rib pain. So it's the key for your rehab. It's prehab too.
It's prehab, yeah. I was going to say it's like getting everything activated. And if things aren't activating, you overcompensate in other areas, and that's where the injuries come from. So
the idea for you now is to prep that all so you're running like a god come January.
Fingers crossed, an ice god. Thank you so much for coming on. That was awesome. It was super helpful. I took away a heap. So you can all follow Kathleen over at Move Better on Instagram. Is it move.better?
Movebetter.co.
Movebetter.co on Instagram. The link to join the waitlist, or hopefully, depending on when you're listening to this, it might be live. So go get amongst it, get your Pilates on. And as Kathleen said, she's going to be adding to it, and she'll be coming along on the run. So you'll get to see a lot more of her on that. Yeah. If we get enough sponsorship.
Yes.
So,
please help us. Sponsor him. He needs it.
I need the support.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was awesome fun.
Awesome.
As always, guys, do something today to be better for tomorrow. I'm Lachlan Stuart. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.